hashtags to vigils, the world continues to mourn the victims of the Paris attacks. But some responses have been a bit misguided. Here are 3 reactions you should think twice about. Roughly half of U.S. governors are vowing to close their states to Syrian refugees following the Paris attacks. This, despite the fact that it remains unclear if any of the attackers were refugees. What we do know is that the Syrian refugees are fleeing the same violence that devastated Paris. As President Obama said,
"It is very important that we do not close our hearts to these victims of such violence and somehow start equating the issue of refugees with the issue of terrorism."
Even though the majority of all ISIS victims are Muslim, and the majority of all Muslims don't support ISIS, over the weekend we saw a backlash against Muslims. Right-wing protesters stormed a vigil for the victims, screaming, "Expel Islamists," and throwing firecrackers. But they were ultimately chased away by hundreds of people yelling, "Go away, fascist." And in the past few days, we've seen even more examples of anti-Muslim sentiment. In Scotland, an Islamic cultural center was firebombed. In Canada, a mosque was set on fire, and a Muslim woman who was picking up her kids from school was assaulted by 2 men while they yelled anti-Muslim profanities at her. The media has also perpetuated the sentiment that Muslims as a whole should be held accountable for the attacks, like the CNN host berating a spokesperson for an anti-Islamophobia group in France. And here in the US, you've got presidential candidate Donald Trump, who said he'd monitor mosques and possibly even shut them down.
Well, you're going to have to watch and study the mosques because a lot of talk is going on at the mosques.
Many pundits use the attacks to push the line that there's a global war between Islam and the West. Fox News presenter Andrea Tantaros said President Obama is being delusional when he said Muslims and Christians are not at war. The reaction to the Paris attack was global. World leaders rushed to issue statements, monuments around the world lit up in the French colors, and people expressed their sadness and solidarity on social media. Facebook let you put up a French flag on your profile picture with 1 click and turned on a safety check, a service that let users tell their friends they're okay. The solidarity has been heartening, but none of that happened when the same group killed 43 people in Lebanon the day before Paris, or when they killed 97 in Turkey a few weeks earlier. Frequent ISIS attacks in Syria and Iraq rarely elicit the same type of international reaction Paris got. Maybe the disproportionate coverage is because these things aren't expected to happen in European or North American cities, but that doesn't make the suffering in Beirut or elsewhere any less real. Downplaying that suffering is what helps misguided reactions against refugees and entire religious communities to spread.